Hang on. I should have. Hold on, Itai. Oh, that's headed 4. That's 4 stars, yeah? Oh, these are my pesik ratio notes. So, just, yeah, hold on. I don't even know where these notes belong to. That's all the pesik ratio. Oh, because the P75. Let's leave it in there. Just in case. Okay, Rabotai. We are going to continue with the laws of Shabbat. We are now on page Saddi, Dalet Amud Bet, 94b.
I opened it exactly Saddi, Dalet Amud Bet.
Wow.
What are we reading?
Hashem is with you. We're going to read the Mishnah momentarily. Yeah, hold on one second, Moshe. Yariv, we have Ilun Neshama, huh? Yiratzon, that the words of Torah should go for the Ilun Neshama of Amir Marom Ben Avraham Avinu. Okay. So before we look at this Mishnah, I want to tell you guys 2 things. Number 1, Liron, give your boys some dinner over there. They can go and make plates. Okay, 2 things, everybody. Don't be shy, boys. Okay, Ezra, you ready? Yes. 2 announcements. 1 announcement and 1 non-announcement. First of all, I'm going to review just the basic where we got to until here, so that anyone who wasn't here can understand. And the other thing that's really the announcement is, this is not a 1-minute halakha class. So you might know the halakha already. You know this already. We've been down this road many times. You might know the halakha. This is not to teach you a new halakha. Maybe it will teach you a new halakha. It's to give you the understanding of the makeup of the halakha. And number 2, to give you the understanding of if someone in your family, let's say, breaks the halakha. Because listen, we're all in kiruv. We all come from Sephardi families, right? Not everyone is fully dati. When do you make a big deal? When do you not make a big deal? The only way you know the answer is if you know the halakha, right? If you know, it's a pesik reshe, leave her alone. This is when you become smart.
It's always there.
Yeah, so her. It's always her. But so when you become smart and nice is when you have knowledge. When you become a tyrant and you're killing every person you see, asur, it means you don't know anything. That's the difference. Okay? So let us review the halachot. We said on Shabbat there's something called pesik reshe velo yamut. Pesik reshe means if you chop his head off, velo yamut, he won't die, which is the chicken. If you chop a chicken's head off, because your kids want to play with a chicken head like a soccer ball, you think it's not going to die? Of course it's going to die. So the halakha is something that's a pesik reshe velo yamut. Pesik reshe is going to be asur, forbidden, even according to Rabbi Shimon. Why? Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda had an argument. Rabbi Yehuda holds dabar shelo mitkaven. If you do something without intention, which means you open the door in the summertime and you let the hot air in the room. Your intention is not to turn on the air conditioning by letting more hot air in the room. Your intention is to leave or open the door. So it's called dabar shelo mitkaven. That's not your intention. Rabbi Yehuda holds dabar shelo mitkaven is asur. Rabbi Shimon holds dabar shelo mitkaven is mutar. And therefore we hold like Rabbi Shimon, it's mutar. It's not your intention. Okay? Taking it up a notch, pesik reshe. If you do something which is 100% going to cause a reaction on Shabbat, is asur. For example, I'll give you a better example. Opening the car on Shabbat. If you left your talit in the car on Shabbat, are you allowed to get it from the car on Shabbat? What's mukseh? What?
The car?
Mukseh what? What am I doing? Oh, he wants to transcribe it. Hold on. There you go.
It's an object not to be brought to Shabbat.
Very good.
Okay. Not with the remote.
So let's talk about this for a second. Okay, guys, you ready? I go to a hotel for Shabbat. Liron, we go to a hotel for Shabbat. And we don't want to bring everything in the room. It's going to be too crowded. It's a very small room, the whole family. So we're going to leave a lot of things in the car for Shabbat, in the parking lot. Maybe I want to go in the car on Shabbat and get something. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff in the car. Or it's 1 second before Shabbat, yeah? And so I tell my wife, let's turn off the bulbs from the car. Turn off the bulbs.
And it became a storage.
It's a storage. Am I allowed to open the door? No button, the key, manual key. Can I open the door of the car on Shabbat? If no light will go on. Moshe?
You would think that yes. I'm still not set on the muktzeh, but you would think.
Okay, so Moshe wants to know about mukseh. What is the law of mukseh? What is mukseh? And let's say you have a boy here, there's no anything, nothing. A guy comes, get. What's mukseh? What is
Moving.
What is moving something is mukseh.
Not touching.
What? I can't look at it? Can I look at it?
But you're not.
Yeah, can you touch it?
Can I look at it? What can I not do?
Move it.
I can't move it. Can I touch it? I can touch it? Like this on a pen on Shabbat? Yeah. Very good. So what's called moving a car? Moving the whole car or moving the door of the car?
No.
So Chavadia says moving the car is called the whole car. If you just open the door, that's not called you moved the car. Says the Chavadia. And so if the light is off, now question Malitza Ayin, whatever, we'll talk about that later. But you're in the Bahamas or something and you rented a car, you're far away and you need a storage, you turn the light off, you could open the car on Shabbat to get what you need with the key, not with the button. Everybody agree?
So sitting on the car is mukseh, that's for sure.
Sitting in the car is a question because you're not moving the wheels, you're moving the extra.
That's the
So it's a whole
That's the question
balagan.
of the wheels.
You moving what?
The body of the car is moving, but not the wheels. So that's a whole mahloket.
The suspension moving basically.
If I want to open the car and the light will go on, it's asur because of what? Do I want the light to go on? Is it nihale? Nihale means I like the result. Do I want the light to go on in the car? I don't want the light to go on in the car. So why is it asur? Pesik reshe. Pesik reshe is asur. Which type of pesik reshe is asur? Pesik reshe melechet deoraita. What if the violation of Shabbat is going to be a deoraita, a Torah violation? No, you can't do it. But if it's going to be midrabanan, maybe you can do it. So the car, I opened the car on Shabbat and the light went on. Can I close the car? It's going to turn off the light.
Yes.
No.
Kibui of the light is not deoraita. Kibui is not deoraita unless you're using the ashes to write something. Kibui, turning off a light. If a guy puts a gun to your head on Shabbat and says, I want Jew, turn on the light or turn off the light?
Which one would
Turn
you
off
do?
the light. Turn off the light. It's only midrabanan. And so therefore, it's rabbinic. We shouldn't do rabbinic, but if you have to. And so therefore, the pesik reshe, ben lo nihale. But the question is it lo nihale? If the light if the light would stay on, my battery would die. So it might be nihale, the light should turn off. Okay, let's say it's 1 minute before the end of Shabbat, so the battery is not going to die.
Yeah, now it's for sure.
So can you do it? Maybe with a shinui, there's much more
It's going
leniency.
to be a loss.
Loss doesn't care. Shabbat. If there, the Shabbat. That doesn't come.
Losses?
Shabbat. Shabbat. No. Loss and
It's
Pikuach nefesh.
it's not going to be a loss.
Loss of money?
Yeah.
Lose your money. The Shabbat.
For what? Torah or Rabbanan?
Even with the Rabbanan. I mean, when it comes to Sibud, maybe. It would have to be a loss of a lot of money.
So really, if it's in the middle of the Shabbat, I don't know if you can turn off the light, close the door, because it's definitely nichale.
Your battery's going to die.
Yeah.
So you're benefiting from the light going.
You actually want it closed.
Yeah. So it might be nihale, which means
Although we know not halachically, but that when they were debating, who was it that said that you could do it? Was it when we read the Mefarshim? One on first.
the Rashba, the Aruch. The Aruch says all pesik reshe is fadal, go do it.
Yeah.
Which is very lenient, but the Halakha
And the
Mahaseh,
Rashba says.
the Rashba says if you have two kavanot, that's what you were asking about.
Yeah.
I have two kavanot, that's okay, but that's not halachic. So the summary, I want to read the summary halakha, and then I want to go into the new piece of Gemara. And we're talking about one halakha tonight.
So we're really poskim according to Tosafot. This is one halakha that's Faradi.
We're going to go like Tosafot, because most of the Rishonim hold like Tosafot. And then after this, I want to go do one halakha. I want to show you one application. There's a pesik reshe. There's so many applications on the Shabbat. So we'll do one at a time or two at a time. And so let's just read the rule. Pesik reshe. Everybody should be familiar with the term now. Pesik reshe means when I do something 100% is going to happen. Not 99%. Even 99% would be allowed. We're talking 100% something's going to happen. Okay? Yesh omrim shekol ha'isur b'pesik reshe denihale. This that we say that you cannot do something that's a pesik reshe that is good for you. For example, let's use the car. Closing the car door because you're going to benefit by the light going out.
Only if you intend to benefit.
It's only if the melacha is min Torah. The car is d'Rabbanan. Turning off the light is d'Rabbanan. Some people say if it's rabbinic, it's okay.
Depending on
If on is d'oraita, unless it's LED.
The car turning on.
LED we have to talk about.
What's going into the car?
Going into the car, that light is a d'oraita. It's a lamp, right? Unless it's LED. Some say even midrabanan you shouldn't use it. As long as you enjoy the result. You have to not enjoy the result. You have to. You have to not want the melacha on Shabbat. You need this. It's an integral piece of the heter of pesik reshe. So don't tell me, I can do this because I'm not doing it. I'm doing A and only B is happening, but you like B. You're happy with B. You have to be not happy with
You have
B.
to want it to.
You have to not want B or not care about the result.
Two things. But she said, don't work, but
Lo nihale. I'm going to show you.
Don't care.
I'm going to show you. Ulam. Im lo nihale v'melechet ha'yisud. If you don't want the transgression from Shabbat, which has been d'Rabbanan, afshu pesik reshe, even if it's for sure going to happen, kol she'ha'yisud midrabanan da'at roba poskim d'shari. As long as the forbidden melacha is rabbinic, most poskim say it's allowed as long as you don't want the result. And the same thing if you don't care, you're neutral. So that's the guy, do you want result B? He says, I don't care. It goes on, it goes off. So my example that I spoke about the first week we did this Shabbat is the Ring doorbell. When I walk to my house, the Ring doorbell is going to go on. It flashes that little light, okay? The blue light goes on, and it records. So the question number one. So you want to say every time. Now I want everyone should be thinking about all these things every Shabbat. When you do something, say, "Oh, that's pesik reshe." So we have check boxes. How can I do it? I need two check boxes. Number one, it has to be lo nihale or lo ichpatle. I don't care about the recording. Do I want the blue light to go on? No. Do I want to be recorded on my own house? Why do I need my own recording on myself for? Lo ichpatli. I don't care. Good. You need the second part. It has to be midrabanan. It can't be isu deoraita. Both parts you need. Either or. You need both parts. It has to be midrabanan and lo ichpatli or lo nihale. So the recording is probably midrabanan. The camera, plus it's a garma. The light, if it's LED, it's probably d'Rabbanan also on the LED lights. It's not heat based, and so there. Right, but what's the oraita? We don't ever want to do this on Shabbat. But what's the oraita? What's the oraita? Something the oraita here? It's probably all midrabbanans. I'm asking. Can anybody? I'm not an electrician. Is there anything?
I like to open a bracket on the LED. If you don't mind.
You want to open a bracket?
Why talk about LEDs? Why the LED? It's not fluorescent. Is not.
Is it?
If you put your finger,
is it heat based? The question is it a heat based electricity? HEAT, heat.
Why? How did you? Sorry.
Because lot of
LEDs do emit heat, but it's not.
Is it,
No,
has to
it's
be,
not-
It's
I heard
not
it's like
burning.
this.
It's not
If you put
burning.
your finger in
Correct.
the socket,
I've heard that as well. I've heard that as well, but I've heard it differently. And I'm not an expert. This is already,
yeah, the two connections, if you touch
I'm very
that,
expert in LED.
Let's-
I did LED before you guys know.
let's,
I did it 20 years ago.
okay, we'll start from the bottom.
Before it came.
What's the Yisud on Shabbat? Lo teva'aru esh bechol moshevodechem. On Shabbat, the Yisud is to light a fire. Electricity, why, does it say in the Torah, lo ta'asu electricity? No. It says, lo teva'aru esh. Which category you want to put electricity into for the Yisud? For esh. Because what other category would it fit into to be asu?
I think, sorry, can I say something? I think that, normally close, normally open, that thing?
Huh?
Normally close, normally open.
The current is flowing, you're saying?
It's when
It's a kind
when
of-
the seal
two different kinds of switches.
close, it makes it the spark.
No,
It's
it's
the connection.
combustion.
It makes
It
the
makes
spark
the
and the
connection.
connection close.
right.
With LED, with halogen, with gas, which is the fluorescent used to, and all of the light bulbs are asking for the same thing. They normally close and turn on. That's the issue. That's the thing.
I don't think
Why
that's,
it is issue.
no,
That's
but
what some people say is it could make a spark when the contacts close.
right, so the question is there heat? Are you turning on heat? Is it esh?
So it's definitely, if you take the LED, which is the laser, you know about it in 2 years. 2 years is going to come replacing the LED soon. But let's say LED, since we know it all, the LED, once it's off, it's very cold, temperature-wise. But when it turn on, it's 70% hot. Then it's when it's cold. So it is getting.
Right, but I think the question is it what creates the electricity?
You're
If
talking
you think about
the
a regular-
bulb of the LED.
If you think about,
He's not talking about.
No,
the bulb
what's
of the-
creating the electricity?
if you think about
The
an
connection-
incandescent bulb, right?
Is it heat?
There's a filament,
Connect-
it's like there is a candle, and it heats up
If you
until it
put your
glows.
finger.
An LED?
No,
A
Ray
regular bulb.
of an
an
LED.
LED doesn't do that.
You hear
What's gonna happen?
Tell him.
Because you're talking about
If you're gonna
12 volts.
put, if you're
You're
gonna
talking
put.
about different voltage.
Hold
Okay,
on,
so
listen to
this-
Ezra.
It's nothing to do with
Listen to Ezra.
None of that matters. So the thing is, with the regular light bulb, the incandescent bulb, there's a filament.
Right.
And electricity causes it to heat up
Throwing
Until-
running through. Yeah.
until it glows,
Hold, pause.
which is like a candle.
So the
Like a
heat,
candle,
hold on,
right?
the heat is causing the light.
The incandescent. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's.
The heat
it's
is a
question-
necessary component
Yes,
to bring the light.
yeah.
And even though some rabbis say electricity is not asur from deoraita,
Wow.
Really?
that's not what we hold the ma'aseh. But it was a big mahloket when these things came.
Either way, it's not an open flame. Any way you slice it, it's not an open flame, no matter what.
We're gonna say traditional Orthodox Jewry nowadays are gonna say if it's a heat-based source of electricity, if heat is required to ignite the lighting process,
Well, it's a byproduct. It's not what you want. You're not lighting a light to heat up your room. You're lighting a light to light your room.
right, but you have to light the light. Even if you want to light a fire on Shabbat just for light, you can't do that either.
But you were talking about you want the result. You don't want the result of the heat. If you turn, these were all incandescent
I
bulbs.
understand.
They
But,
would raise the temperature of this room. You wouldn't want it.
I understand, but the same thing would apply to an actual fire. Lotavaru esh, you can't light a fire. It doesn't say lehamem.
But it
doesn't say only for heat.
What the result you want is the light. And
No,
you're
we want-
indifferent to the heat.
I know it's about. I'm using the word heat in English because heat is one of the descriptors of fire. But really, I should say
Heat it up.
what resembles fire. The Torah doesn't say you don't light heat. It says don't light a fire. The question is, what in 2024 would be like fire? And so they're saying electricity, it has the light of fire,
All right, so let's think about this for a
but it has
second.
the heat of fire.
Let's say you had a fire going overnight, and the outside rocks were hot, and your room is cold. Can you move those hot rocks on Shabbat into your room?
No,
Why not?
you can't use it because it's mukseh.
Why?
What if you made it not except for before?
No, you can't move a fire. You can't.
No, they're not on fire. They're just hot.
Hot coals?
Yeah, not cold, it's just rocks, just hot rocks. They're
You
like,
designate them before Shabbat?
yeah.
Maybe.
So then it's the similar thing. It's not a flame, it's not a fire.
Anyway, I'm not an expert at this. I'm not gonna
But this
pretend
is
to
what the
be.
rabbi said.
Okay, guys, let's go on. Come on. Guys, we'll get stuck on this for the whole night.
Well, it's a sticky subject because
It is.
everybody wants to say no because it feels like it's not
Yeah.
something you should.
I
But that
mean,
doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. on
I agree,
Shabbat.
but I'm admitting here that there are a lot of very big rabbis who said electricity is not. I know this, but traditional current Orthodox Jews don't do
You're
it.
saying it's about what?
It was a big mahloket.
It was.
Yeah,
But the
Changed
mahloket, I know what the
about-
mahloket
it was a big mahloket when electricity first came out.
Yeah,
Okay,
but you know where it comes from? The spark is where it comes from.
Yeah. They said, "You don't know." So I'm not pretending to be an expert. Okay, Moshe, we gotta move. We gotta move. Okay, we'll talk more about this hopefully later. But I just brought up LED because LED these days, they're gonna say, most people will say it's the Rabbanat. We have to move
But
on.
the only thing with electricity now is question, like, take the elevator. There's no heating. Yes.
No, electricity per se is not fire. It's the light.
So you would think that you can use an elevator.
Elevator might not be assumed deoraita. It might not be assumed deoraita. Video cameras might not be assumed deoraita. Okay, lificha. I really want to get to the new gemara.
Also, there's a whole other fork of that question with video cameras, which is part of the problem with computers, right? Not the spark, not the electricity, not the fire. You're creating an image that's like indelible image.
Yeah, but it's
No, it's deletable.
much weaker. The video camera is, especially if it's a constant feed.
But it's getting recorded, it's getting saved.
If it's a constant feed, you're talking about a non-constant feed.
Most of the ring cameras are not a constant.
Right,
feed.
right.
So take a picture.
Okay, let's see. Lefichach, therefore, we have to move on, guys. Lefichach, mutar leftoach delet mikarer hashmini b'Shabbat. You can open up a fridge on Shabbat after you took away the menorah, the light. Ben kishehamanua poel, ben kishehafsik et poelato, whether the motor's on or off. She'af al pi shepetichat hadelet gonem bevadai leikanes avid ham lemikarer. Even though when you open the fridge, it's gonna let in hot air. You know it's gonna go on still.
No, but
ובכך מזרז, see that word? מזרז את פעילות המנוע של המקרר בשבת. You're causing the compressor to start moving quicker. מכל מקום, מאחר והוא סומא דרבנן. That's not a light. The compressor is not a light. It's regular electricity, which is סומא דרבנן. הרי הוא בכלל גרמה העשו בשבת מדרבנן. It's a causation on Shabbat מדרבנן. וגם לא ניחלה במלאכת הייסור. I don't want the compressor to go on right now. בעיקר הדין Shaarey, it's going to be allowed מעיקר הדין. והמחמיד, שלא לפתוח את דלת הפריג'ר בשבת. If someone is strict, I brought a water.
You have water right here.
If someone is strict not to open the freezer, then tavo alav beracha. Okay. Now,
so the water fountain, you turn the water fountain on Shabbat.
so it's the same halakha. You same halakha.
But you want
Yes,
the water to be cold.
you want the
That's
water
why-
is cold. It's gonna get cold. Do you care if it goes on right now or 5 minutes from now? You don't care. So
Amen. It's the same concept of the joke.
Yeah.
Of the same thing.
you want to drink water on Shabbat? Drink water on Shabbat. Yeah. In yeshiva, you always have guys saying, "No, you let out the cold water." No.
But
If it happens, it
The
happens.
one with the button, sorry, the electricity. The one with the.
So, Liron, explain why in halachic terms, you have someone at your house and he tells you, no, you can't take from the water cooler. So you have to explain to him in halachic terms. Say, this is going to be a yisum midrabanan, not mideoraita, right? The manoa is yisum midrabanan. It's lo nihali, right? And it's a pesik, even if it's a pesik reshe, it's probably the bashal mikaven, which means it's 99% going to go on. Does it happen 100% of the time you take water, the machine goes on? 100%? Because 99.9% is not pesik reshe. It has to be 100, like bet all your savings, it's going to happen. So number one, you tell the guy, it's probably the bashal mikaven. Even if you want to say it's pesik reshe, which is 100% slam dunk, it's midrabanan, it's lo nihale. So leave me alone. Pesik reshe, chops his head in Aramit. You got how to explain it? Okay, guys, page 94 in the Gemara Shabbat.
So his grandma is actually.
Garma is a delayed reaction. It's causation. It's a delay. I'm doing something that's going to cause something to happen in 10 minutes from now. Garma, it's not an immediate reaction. So Please, let's not make this a whole night discussion. I'll give you one thing we spoke about in the yeshiva days. There's a massive she'elah.
We became the real Gemara class.
This is a,
We have machlokot.
I'm not giving an answer. I'm telling you, this is a whole discussion we had in yeshiva back 20 years ago in yeshiva. If someone, the Gemara, this is actually a Gemara, but guys, promise me no follow-up questions, okay? The Gemara has a she'elah, has a question. If someone has a water-powered saw, water hydro-powered saw, which means the water turns the mill, and at the end of it, he sticks a knife, and he puts his enemy's head there, and then he turns the button, and the water goes, and then the knife, guillotine. Is it murder? It's not a ma'aseh biyadayim. It's a garma.
Water creating it.
He did something that caused it. So it's a whole she'elah. Just give me this example to show. Yeah, I know you badly want to say something, but you promise. Just to show you,
Max, you inviting me.
this a concept called garma. It's another sad heter. Okay, let's go to Gemara. Not now. We'll do it another time. Gemara Shabbat. I lost you. The guillotine.
No, I'm not even there. I'm just thinking about all the example when you walk and you set up the security line. Everybody say gamma. It's not really. It's pesik reshe because it's not delayed reaction.
Pesik reshe is immediate.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all those things. The
This is garma. Yeah. So number one. So guys,
even the refrigerator.
I would be-
will not be gamma if it kicks in.
right. So I would want you to have. I would have so much nahat if you could have a guest over on Shabbat, and you can explain to him. You say, "What do you want from me?" First of all, the Bat Shalom Kaven is and okay, I'll give you pesik reshe. Pesik reshe, lo nihale, midrabanan. It's a garma. Leave me alone. You put the guy in it. You used halacha. You live a better life. Okay. Gemara Sadik Dalid Amud Bet. That's why when I got married to his daughter, every time he sees me on Shabbat, I said, "Nah, it's okay. Nah, leave her alone. Let her go." He thought I was like, I thought you were religious. I said, I am religious. It's nice. Everything's, if you know the halakha, everything's allowed. Okay, ready? Let's do the Gemara Itai. We're waiting a half hour for this Gemara Shabbat. Ready, Moshe? Hanotel Siponav. We're in the Mishnah on 94b. Study that. Hanotel Siponav Zu Bazu. If you pick your fingernails, now we could address the fingernails halakha, but not now. Okay, maybe next week. If someone cuts their fingernails off, he bites his nails or he picks it with his fingers. Hanotel Siponav Zu Bazu, one with another, or Beshinav. You believe this in the Mishnah, or he bites his teeth. The Mishnah says, V'chen se'aro, and also his hair. He's picking his hair out. V'chen sifamo, his mustache area. V'chen zekano, also his beard. V'chen hagodelet, that's a woman's braiding her hair. Hakohelet is makeup. Plus kokeset, we'll leave these three things of the side because they're for women. Rabbi Eliezer mehayev. Rabbi Eliezer says this is all violation of Shabbat. Sorry, but I bit my nail. Not allowed to bite your nail, says Rabbi Eliezer on Shabbat. The Hachamim osrin mishum shevut. What is shevut?
Shavut is something with a goy.
No. Let's hear where he's coming from. Shevut is a word which means midrabanan. You're thinking of a shvut, the shvut. If you're allowed to tell, I think Moshe one time asked me a question. Can I tell the goy to do something? Yariv asked me one time a question. Can I have my guy ship the container? So I told him, if you can tell a goy to tell another goy to do it, it's a shvut and a shvut. These are the languages in halakha we use. So bottom line is, Rabbi Eliezer says you're not allowed to bite your nails, and it seems midoraita. Rabbi Eliezer, you're not allowed to cut your nails. You can't pick your hair or your beard. But the Hachamim say shvut, which means don't do it rabbinically, but from the Torah, it's not a violation. Okay, so if someone
Using a nail clipper, you think.
it doesn't say anything about a nail clipper here yet. So hold on. Let's see right now the Mishnah. But I want to make sure you know the halakha. The Hachamim say it's only rabbinic. All right. So if someone bit his nails, according to the Hachamim, relax. You're not going to hell. You violated a rabbinic thing unknowingly. Okay. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Mahloket biyad. This whole mahloket is if you're using your hands to pull your hair out or to cut your nails. Your hands. About bekili, you want to use a tool? A nail clipper or scissors, hayav. Everyone would say you're hayav. You cannot use a utensil on Shabbat. You can't cut your hair with a scissor on Shabbat. Okay, now I want to skip for a minute, a couple of lines down to the two dots. V'chen se'aro, and also his hair. You see it, Itai? I skipped like 4 lines. V'chen se'aro, also his hair. Tana, we learned. Hanotel melo fi hazug hayav. How much hair? You learning in school? Oh, my God. Okay, perfect. How much hair does he have to cut out of his head to be hayav? So a person cuts 1 hair. Is he dead? Penalty for this on Shabbat. So he says, Rabbi Elazar says, enough to fill a scissor head. A nice scissor cut head. How much is that? How many hairs fits in a scissor tip? Amar Rabbi Yehuda shetain, 2 hairs. So if a person pulls out 2 hairs, he broke Shabbat with a utensil.
At the same time.
At the same time, yes. And if it was biyad, then it's a machloket. Rabbi Eliezer said biyad is asur also. The Hachamim say biyad is asur only shmut, midrabanan. Okay? But we learned ul korha shetayim. You're not allowed to make a korha. If someone, God forbid, dies, you want to show that he's upset. You're not allowed to pull your hair out when someone dies. We said ul korha is 2, which means it seems that Shabbat is not 2. Someone says, nah, just read it differently. Emma v'china korha shetayim. It means also 2. Tanari mihachi, we learned this way as well. And I'll tell me law if you pick a scissor full of hair on Shabbat, it's hayav. How much is this? Shetayim, 2 hairs. Rabbi Eliezer, he's very strict. Rabbi Eliezer says 1 hair. 1 hair and biyad. Rabbi Eliezer both says it's asur. Umodim hachamim, Rabbi Eliezer, and the rabbis agree to be strict like Rabbi Eliezer. B'milaket levanot mitoch shehorot. If you're picking a white hair out of the black hairs. You're not allowed to pick even one white hair out of your black head. Even the Hachamim will agree it's 1.
No,
Forget me. Sha'afilu ahat hayav. Yeah, because it's a shi'ud. It's malachet. Sha'afilu ahat hayav. Even 1 white hair is hayav. V'dabar ze af bechol asur. This thing, even the weekdays, you're never allowed to do. A man can never pull white hair out of his black head. Mishum shneamar lo yibash geves imatisha. You cannot do what women do, and this is something that women do. And this is halakha ma'aseh. Rambam brings this down. Halakha ma'aseh. Shulchan Aruch. You're not allowed to go to the mirror and pick white hairs out of your head or your beard.
Where does it go?
Not women. Women can do what they want.
No, how far we apply this halakha? There are so many things that women do that, especially nowadays, men do.
So there's
they do their nails. They
it's a great question.
They fix part of their face.
What's it called? Tweezing the eyebrows?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I don't.
Tweezing them, but cutting them is different.
I'm not even going. Okay. It's a question.
Dyeing your hair.
We'll put it on the side. Okay. Now, Tosafot says, if you see Ita, there's a Tosafot, Abba Bechli Divrei Kol Hayav. If you use a vessel, everyone holds Hayav. Tosafot says, Hainu K'Rebi Yehuda. This is like Rabbi Yehuda. The Mechayev Melacha She'en Selicha Legufa. What does this mean?
But if you use a vessel that's made specially for what you're doing,
yes,
that's different.
Yeah. Yes,
it's not the one. You can use a vessel that's not.
We're talking now about a vessel created for this purpose. I told you that there's a mahloket Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon with the Bat Shalom and Kavin, something that you don't mean. For example, what was the example? Opening the window in the summer. And then you have all the hot air in. Rabbi Yehuda says, hey, the Bat Shalom and Kavin is asur. Rabbi Shimon says, no, it's the Bat Shalom and Kavin. Leave it alone. Another mahloket, Rabbi Shimon holds, you need melechet mahashevet. Rabbi Yehuda says, you don't need a melechet mahashevet. Yeah, calculated. We talked about this the first week. There's another concept called melacha she'ena selicha legufo. It's very closely related to the Bat Shalom and Kavin. The melacha she'ena selicha legufo means you're doing something, you don't need the result of what you're doing. You don't want the result of what you're doing. In other words, you're just throwing it to the trash. So what exactly are you doing here? How could you penalize me for Shabbat, for cutting something, if it's going to the trash? Rabbi Yehuda says even the Baal she'ena sedicha l'gufo is hayav. Rabbi Shimon says no. The Baal she'ena sedicha l'gufo is mutar. So therefore, it says if I cut my hair on Shabbat or I bite my nails, do I want the nails? I want the nails? No, I don't want the. Do I want the hair? No. So it's
But
the melacha she'ena sedicha l'gufo. I don't need this
But
stuff.
that's why you're doing it.
So Rabbi Shimon would hold it's mutar. It's not a penalty. Rabbi Yehuda would hold it's asur. Got it so far? Here's my question, Abotai.
מה אבות המלאכה that makes it, what did I have מלאכה on biting in there?
Gozez.
Was this?
Gozez is shearing. Shearing a cat, shearing a wool off of a sheep.
Okay, so
Shearing wool.
shearing is from the oraita. Even if you don't need it, it's shearing. You're not allowed to be possessed.
Are you sure about that? Are you
Yes.
sure? If you were to be Shimon,
The safe thing is to have for you.
come on.
Because the melacha itself, Babi, so it's not the.
I understand, but if you're shearing, I told you that if you blow a candle out and you don't want to use the ashes, it's not asur b'deoraita.
But there is no issur in the oraita to blow a candle. There is a issur
No,
in the
there's a
oraita
yisur
on shearing.
kiburi. No, there's a yisur kiburi. But it's only if you're for a positive action.
Oh, I see. That I
So-
didn't know. I didn't know there's a issur.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought there is a issur adlaka on.
Yeah. So here's my question for you. Your wife or your daughter on Shabbat morning is brushing her hair. What do you do?
Stop.
Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? Do you stop her? Do you not stop her?
It's gonna come out. no
Hold
matter
on,
what.
hold on. Use all the things we learned.
Also, because hair is coming out.
I mean, you're using a
Hair
vessel.
is
I know. because
You're using a
it's coming
vessel,
out.
and two hairs are gonna come out when you
So
do
very
it.
Everything
smart
along
man.
is the safest
That's
side,
the safe
but
man.
now we talk about but not safety.
So hold on,
For
go
the
through
safety
it,
class.
go through it. What is she doing here?
Look,
What is her kavanah?
It's la nichale. She wants to comb her hair. She
Okay.
doesn't want the hair.
So let's build it slowly. Her kavanah is to make herself look pretty.
Yes.
Is her kavanah to pull her hair out of her head?
No,
No.
it starts.
Nobody wants to
Not
pull
only
hair.
that, she doesn't want it to come out.
So lo ichpat la, lo
לא,
nihala.
la nichale, לא אכפת לה, la nichale.
The reason why I said that is because there is a gemara that says that there are hairs that are loose in the head, and it's good to get rid of them. So when a person's brushing their hair, they might want to get rid of
But she doesn't know what she's doing, and she's not that.
Okay.
She just wants to comb
And they
her
probably
hair.
aren't there anyway because she brushes her hair every day.
Where's that paper I had? So
Why they
her
say-
kavanah. So let's build it, guys. Her
Why do they say
kavanah.
use a soft brush? No.
Hold on, Noah. I gave a special disclaimer in the beginning.
Okay.
I don't care if you know the halacha. I want to know how to explain the halacha. What is her intention? Her intention is to make herself look pretty.
Okay.
So it's the bat shlomit kavin. Is hair for sure going to come out?
By the way, sorry, it's also men. I used to
Also
have-
men.
I used to have hair.
100%. This applies to men as well.
And I took hair
I started with the ladies.
And I go like this, and, you know.
I started with the ladies for a special reason. I'll tell you in the end. But we have to, Rabotai, I want to build it. You have all the knowledge. Check all the boxes. Her kavanah is to pull out the hair?
No.
No.
Okay, now we have to define, Liron. When we have this, we always have to say, okay, am I doing a dabat shelomit kaven, or am I doing a pesik reshe? Is it 99% chance the hairs are going to come out? Or is it 100% chance the hairs are going to come? You have to pick a road. 100? Okay, if it's the dabat shelomit kaven, then it's the dabat shelomit kaven is going to be allowed, right?
No matter.
If it's the midrabanan.
Yeah.
And we're afraid of what's going to happen? Pulling out hair is the midrabanan or the oraita?
Two hairs?
Whoa, what did we just read?
Two hairs.
Is what?
If it's two, right?
No, it's
Chachamim said it's shvut,
Spoonful.
but it's beyond. Shvut is if it's beyond. If it's a tool,
Yeah, but it's not a tool that defined to remove.
very good. So is a brush a haircut tool?
No.
well, but you need one because you use one of those.
Hold on. So let's just say it's called beyond. And it's going to be coming out a melechet midrabanan. It's a pesik reshe midrabanan v'lo nihala Why can't you brush your hair on Shabbat?
She can.
That's why I said leave her alone.
Yeah, but that's the safe.
I'm not going there. I'm not going.
Who has an answer?
Leave her alone.
What?
Let her brush her hair.
Are we agreeing? That's it.
Is it a big comb?
It's allowed.
Is it a big comb? Is it a?
Are you saying it's allowed to brush your hair on Shabbat?
I say,
It's still allowed for your wife to brush her hair on Shabbat.
I say yes.
Yeah.
That was the question.
Itai, you let her brush your hair on Shabbat?
And you can't say no.
I don't know what to say.
If you know
You're
it's
the-
not
you're
gonna-
the-
your hair's not gonna come out.
It's a pesik reshe, but it's midrabanan and lo nichal.
It's pesik Hashem Rabanan v'lo nichal. So she should be allowed to.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Probably wrong.
What's the oraita about?
The writer?
According to the Eliezer, it's the oraita. According to the Hachamim, it's a shvut. Because it's biyad.
And
If it's a scissor,
even,
that's-
even Rabbi Eliezer is
But I won't,
talking about
let's ask
something
this
else.
question.
Rabbi Eliezer is
Let me get my
talking
books
about
ready.
like, it sounds like at least from the language of the
So
Gemara,
let's ask this
of the
question.
Mishnah, that it talks about
Hold on.
intentional pulling.
Right, yeah, but we,
It sounds like it.
okay.
Let's go back to the
Yeah.
Mishnah. Did they brush the wool?
Oh, very good.
This is what we really care
I
about.
like the way he's thinking. This is almost what he started. I thought he was going to get the jackpot. What, maybe you'll get the jackpot. Someone should get the jackpot. It's a great one. Okay, so what do I want to tell you now? Let's first start with Shulchan Aruch. We have Shulchan Aruch. Did I bring Moshe's? Let's get Moshe's Shulchan Aruch. Joey. Moshe's the big Shulchan Aruch.
You're gonna throw a wrench in
The
the,
bottom book in that pile. Right.
you're gonna throw a wrench on the shavut. You're gonna turn it into the
Let's see.
right because of the שהיו.
Oh, sorry, that's
סורקים- שהיו סורקים את הכבשים, את העזים.
Give me something about the Izim. You're almost there. You don't. You're in the right ballpark. Thank you. Ty. Okay, let's see. First, let's see halakha. Okay. Rambam 9:8. Rambam Shabbat. Let's see what the halakha l'maaseh is. Rambam says, "Hanotel siponav o se'aro o sefamo o zekano." So far, that's the Mishnah. Hareze toldat gozez. It's an offshoot of gozez. V'hayav. It sounds a lot like the Mishnah. Hayav. V'hush yitol bekeli. That's as long as you use a keli. Because the Gemara says, if it's bekeli, b'divrei akol. Yeah? Abal ibnat lan biyado, if you used your hand. Ben lo, ben lahed, whether your own hair or someone else's hair. Patur. Patur means what in Shabbat? Asur, we won't punish you. Okay. V'im niket. Hanotel se'aro b'chli.
פטור יש חייב ויש מותר.
Right. Hanotel se'aro b'chli. Kama yito v'yeh hayav. Shete se'arot. 2 hairs. V'im niket levanot mitoch shehorot. Afilu ahat hayav. Okay. This is Rambam. So we see the halakha l'maaseh that the Gemara said. Next, Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch 340. Is right here. Asur litos se'aro o siponav ben beyad ben bekeli ben le'atzmo ben la'achirim. Yahya b'sheteh se'arot. U'melaket levanot b'toch she'arot. If you pick out white hairs, afilu be'ahat hayav v'dabar zeh afilu b'chol asur mishum lo yebash keves simat isha. Shulchan Aruch brings the whole thing. Okay. And I want to show you Shulchan Aruch 303. And then we'll get to the goods. And we'll give it a halakha l'maaseh. 303. Dine takshite isha. That's off.
Anyway, the לא ילבש גבר לבוש אישה, it's very tough to understand.
Yeah, we can't do it.
It's so broad. No,
Chacham
not to
Vadia.
understand because it's so broad. You can apply to everything.
Yeah, it's a big one. Okay. Asur lisrok b'masrek b'shabbat. Asur lisrok b'masrek b'shabbat. You cannot comb your hair on Shabbat with a comb. Why? Why? Why is it not a pesik reshe?
Because there was food coming at the Mishkan.
You're almost there. Even if you use a comb with pig hair, which I don't know, is pig hair hard or so? I don't know what the difference is. It's impossible. It's impossible. That nothing comes out. Okay, thank you, Maran. You hold.
Like the combs that they use to take out.
He holds a pesik reshe. The question is, why is it not a pesik reshe? We just learned all these 3 weeks to get here. You're allowed to go this in your hair. Why can I do that then? Why am I allowed to go like this on my beard? It's gozez. It's all gozez. If you're afraid of gozez, I can't comb my hair with a comb on Shabbat, but I'm allowed to go like this or go like this on Shabbat. Go through my hair. Why? Why? It also falls out.
Maybe.
So listen to this. So then I'll show you one thing.
Because your fingers aren't adjusted.
I'm reading you now Rambam Hilchot. Guess what type of Hilchot? $10 if you guess it. No one's gonna guess it. No one's gonna guess it.
Max, my brother's saying Nazir.
$10. $10.
Is it actually?
Yeah. What made you think? Can I borrow $10 from you? That's a brilliant. Ezra! You heard what he just did?
What are you doing at home with?
Stop working. I remember that if a Nazir were comb, a Nazir can't comb his hair because another hair.
Wow, look at this. This is amazing.
See how your money paid off to send them?
He's quiet for a long time, but when he opens his mouth, he drops a bombshell. Nazir! Helechot Nazirut, $10. Nazir, so can the Nazir go like this to his hair on top?
Yeah.
What about the bottom? You're good. Nazir hofef al se'aro biyado. A Nazir is allowed to move around his hair. Nazir is not allowed to cut any hair from his hair. A Nazir is someone who's upon himself, no wine, no cutting his hair for 30 days at all. But he's allowed to hofef, scratch around his head, fix his hair with his head. Ve'hochech b'siponav. V'im nafal se'ar. What if he took out a hair? In hoshesh. Don't worry about it, says Rambam. Shaarey in kavanato le'ashir. It's not his kavanah to take out hair. You see the words of Rambam? Maybe it won't happen. It's not a pesik reshe. Hafif is not a pesik reshe. It's not 100%. Abalo yisrop masrek, but he cannot use a comb. Velo yahuf be'adama, or use, let's say, shampoos of the time that they had. That for sure will take a hair out. And so a Nazir is allowed to do the shake around his hair like that. So if a Nazir, and the Gemara on Shabbat brings this, I think page 51, 50. The Gemara on Shabbat says, if a Nazir is allowed to go like this on Shabbat, then for sure we can do this on Shabbat. We're not afraid it's going to fall out. What about a beard or a mustache on Shabbat? And so, watch this, Chacham Vadia. Chacham Vadia says over here, he was asked about pesik reshe. This is pages about pesik reshe. This is Yabia Omet, which we don't learn too often in the shul because it's very complicated. But he says, check this out. Al pi ma shekatav Hagon Marenu Harav Haim Palaji in the Sefer Kafa Haim. Sheyesh liazhir le'ele. You should warn these people. Shemekanehim so'at tahotem, who clean their nose mucus. Ubefrat k'shehiyeh be'esha, especially if you have dry mucus in your nose. The Kafa Haim says, don't do it. Don't clean your nose. Shetolshim ayedeze kamen se'arot. You know how many nose hairs that fall out of your nose? Says the Kafa Haim. You're going to say, it's the bat she'enon mukaven. It's not my intention to take my hair out of my nose. Pesik reshe. It's a pesik reshe, says the Kafa Haim. It's 100% you're going to take out a nose hair. V'chen, says the Kafa Haim. Arohes panav umeshafshef biyado b'se'ar ha'peot hazaken. You're cleaning your face. Hazakan, sorry, that's a grandpa, right? I always say that. You're cleaning your face and you're going like this. You're making your beard. Mistama ifshad biliti lishat sa'ad. For sure, a hair is gonna fall out. When I was in yeshiva, whenever you went to the bookshelf in the kollel and got a book, you had two surprises. Surprise! Open the book. The surprise, a nice beard hair, waiting for you in the book. The beard hairs, they come out. You cannot put your hand on your beard, says the Kafahayim on Shabbat. Don't we all know the story? One time on Shabbat, he put his hand in his beard. You're gonna love this one. He left it in his beard the whole Shabbat because he was afraid to take it out on Shabbat. And so, when you wash your hands after you use the bathroom, there's hair. You're going to pull out a hair on your hand. Don't worry, don't take the leniency of the because it's a pesik reshe.
I shave on my body.
Either way, you're screwed.
But you explain everything. We still explain why is it lanicha.
Why is it?
The Rabbanan, lanicha with the Rabbanan.
So you see how? So that's Hacham Vadia. That's he tore them, and then he goes to dismantle these people, and he says, "What are you talking about?" So Hacham Vadia, and also in the Sefer Me'ol Israel on the Gemara, he also talks about it. I'll read you like 6 lines. I'll give you the halakha ma'aseh. We'll close it up. Umiu. He says, "B'mishnah, hanotel siponav zu bezu." Someone who cuts his nails. V'chen se'aro o sefamo o zekano. Rabbi Eliezer mechayev. V'hachamim osrim mishum shevut. Says Hacham Uvadia. Beshut HaRibash, in the Sefer of the Ribash, Katav, he writes, Shebemelechet gozez, when it comes to the transgression, thank you, of cutting, of shearing, even though you don't want that hair that falls out, you don't want it. Hashiv melacha l'china ama, it's still called a work, it's still called melacha. Sheken hageziza shahita b'mishkan, because that's literally what they did in the Mishkan. Geziza, gozez, is different than all the other melachot. Why?
Because it's literally the same.
In the Mishkan, every other melacha they did for the purpose of that melacha. Why did they shear the hair? Why did they cut the hair in the Mishkan? Just to get the skins. They didn't need the wool. Why did they didn't need the wool. They just cut. Why they cut the hair? Why they shear the orot? The tahashim? It was the skins. It was the skins. The top part of the hair they cut. I don't know. They wove it.
What?
He said because it says Rashi says they wove it while it was on the goats. Maybe they cut the top part off. I don't know. Let's read what he said. Yeah. When it came to the orot, they didn't need the wool and the hair. They only wanted the actual leather. Maybe this explains what you're saying. Why they said it was big chokhmah. What was the big chokhmah about weaving hair? Maybe because it had the very close hair to the skin. Maybe that was the big chokhmah. Hilkach, therefore, you do want that hair to come off. So when they cut the hair in the Mishkan, they didn't cut it for the hair. So don't come to me and say, yeah, I'm cutting my hair, but I don't want the hair to come out. So there's nothing like they did in the Mishkan. It's exactly what they did in the Mishkan. If in the Mishkan they cut the hair for the hair, you can tell me now, hey, this is different than the Mishkan. I don't want my hair. It's not my kavanah. Moshe, you hear? But in the Mishkan, they did exactly what you're doing. They cut the hair just not for the hair, for a different reason.
But you're not cutting your hair to expose your skin, so.
Very good. Maybe you are. In a weird way. Maybe you are.
We're not talking about shaving, we're talking about haircut.
וכן כתב הרמב"ן, דמילה ועדיי מלאכה הצליחה לגופיה היא, same thing applies to ברית מילה and Shabbat, which Shabbat beats it, but מילה לא בזמנו you can't do. If it's not on the 8th day, you cannot do Brit Milah on Shabbat. Sharehu sarich she'adam ze'i yamahu. You don't want the foreskin. You're going to throw it on the ground. I want my son to be circumcised. Same thing if you use a nail cutter. I know you don't want the hair, and I know you don't want the nails. You're doing this, you want to look nice, you want to look pretty, or whether you do it you want the hair, it doesn't matter. And he says, therefore, why does Bana Shulchan Aruch say it's not mutad to use a brush? Because brushing your hair is different. Pulling out hair is different than all the other melachot. You can't tell me it's not the intended result. It is the intended result. Just like the Mishkan.
Say that again?
And lighting a fire is the intended
Lighting a
result,
fire-
not the fire.
No, because anything else you want to do, you want to say, I opened the fridge and the light turned on. I didn't mean for the light. Is that what they did in the Mishkan? No, they lit a light. I'm not doing what they did in the Mishkan. I'm doing a secondary. But now I'm pulling my hair out, not because I want the hair. Is it Habibi? In the Mishkan also, they pulled the hair out, not because they want the hair.
You're combing your hair. It's a second result. It's not the first.
What do you say, Ita?
No, but
Linen. Yeah, Pishtan. Linen.
I don't get it.
And the same question would apply, says the Chavadia. I want to read you two more things, but we're running out of time. So we'll go, I don't have
so you
Mishnah.
were saying combing is different than brushing?
Listen to this.
That's what, no? Moshe?
Yeah.
Combing is different than brushing?
Hold on.
Once you go into Singapore, is you can take all for yourself. You know, the air
Yeah.
is possible.
With your hands, it's going to be okay. Hold on, we'll see in 1 second. So now, says the Chavadia, the same question was asked by a woman who has nida. She has to go to the mikveh on Shabbat, and she has long nails. And they always want the women to cut their nails for the mikveh. Isha shehala tevilata bila Shabbat, a woman whose mikveh falls out on Friday night. V'shachal ligzoz siponea, she forgot to cut her nails. Can she tell a goy to cut her nails for the mikveh? Again, cutting the nails is a shvut. If you use if you use another woman, a goya, it's a shvut ayedeh goya for a tzorech mitzvah. Maybe it should be allowed. If you use a mouth, the Mishnah says you can't do the shvut. You can't do it. It's asur.
Cut your nails? For a woman,
Woman has to go to the mikveh. She has to be kosher. Huh? Mutar litlan ayedeh nochriya. She's allowed to have the non-Jew cut her nails on Shabbat. She doesn't want to look pretty now. She wants to go to the mikveh, so she's even more removed than the last example. I don't want to look pretty with my nails. That's not what I want. I want to go to the mikveh. I have to cut my nails to go to the mikveh. And then you can add in and say it's a dirabanan. However, she shouldn't put her hand out to the lady who's cleaning it. Just be still. I'm going to read you halakha l'ma'aseh, and then we'll call it a night. You usually need a shavut of a shavut. But if you have a pesik reshe with a dabaran and lo nihale, that will work. And so you can say for the woman, it's the midrabanan, it's a pesik reshe, but it's not nihale. It's not lihala. She doesn't want. She wants the result. Okay. Let me read you a couple of halachot.
No, I don't know.
Let me read you a couple of halachot.
This is a stretch. All the pesik that we did, you wanted action 1 and action 2 derived from action 1.
Yes.
Here you're saying like this. I actually want action 1, but I don't want it for the results of action 1. I want it to the results of action 2. So that's like a all new level.
This is
of
a very big
pesik
leniency. The woman with the
reshe. It's
mikvah,
leniency, and it's a
It's very
different
big.
level of pesik
So
reshe.
listen.
And
yeah, this is very, very lenient. But hold on a second. Let me read you. Hold on. Let's read the halachot. Okay, guys, you ready? Halacha lema'aseh. This is the bottom line halacha. Yesh le'akel le'kaneach etzuat ha'chotim b'Shabbat. You can clean your nose on Shabbat. Gam kishiyeh b'sha, even if it's dry. V'lo ha'shinam bazeh mishum tolesh ha'se'arot. Don't worry about the hairs. V'chen mutar le'kaneach atzmo hetev b'mayim b'Shabbat. You can wash your hands on Shabbat. Hoya ve'aveh pesik reshe. De'lo nihale b'drabanan. It checks off all the boxes we need. ומה שכתוב כמה חלונים להזהיר בזה, אינו אלא ממידת חסידות בעלמא, והמקל לא הפסיד. It's fine, you could be lenient. מותר לשפשף את שערות הזקן בעת שלוחץ פניו בשבת. You're allowed to go like this in your hair, in your beard on Shabbat. ולא חיישין שמא יתלשו שערות. We're not afraid the hair will fall out. דהב עליה, not פסיק רשע. Why? Because a Nazir is allowed to do it. So it's not 100%. Maybe 99% of the times a beard hair will come out, but not 100%. It's the bashi eno mitkaven, the eno pasik reshe. It's not 100%, so therefore it's going to be allowed. Hamahmid tabu ala beracha. Atolesh se'ad biyado. Ben lo ben la'achirim patur. Milabazot. Okay, next halacha. Ma shenohagot ksat nashim. Lefalot is the check for lice. Lefalot et rosh pinotehen melichluch b'Shabbat. I think. Apa pi. So can you check the girl's hair on Shabbat for lice? Apa pi sheyesh lahen se'arot aluchot. They do have long hair, the girls. Ve'aveh pesik reshe. It's going to fall out. Leave the women alone. Leave them alone. Huh?
Wait.
Huh?
Leave them alone.
You're not taking anything. If you find the good question, I think it means it on the bottom actually. What is he saying? And it's a tati midrabanan, it's allowed. It's a tati midrabanan. Why? Because the Mishnah says it's allowed, and even the Rambam says all Talisha is going to be midrabanan. Okay? Almost off. Almost done. Asur li starek. Is it misarek or misrach? The masrek b'Shabbat. You're not allowed to comb your hair with a real brush on Shabbat.
No,
with a comb on Shabbat. We call it a brush. It's all. A comb has teeth. We call it a brush. The brushes have teeth also. I think it's the same thing.
No,
We're not talking about. I'm talking about hard teeth like a comb. Abal mutar lesader se'arot b'mabreshet raka. You can use a soft. You can use a soft. What's the word? A soft bristle brush. Umikumakom. Hayisuli starek b'Shabbat eno ela midrabanan. The whole thing is midrabanan. So therefore, we'll be more lenient. The poskim all alerted us. Listen to these hard words, guys. And then after this, we're done. Okay? The poskim all told us. I'm going to read you the words that's brought down in the Bet Yosef and in the Mishnah Berurah. Ra'iti in the name of the Yeshuot Yaakov. Listen to this. This is the last piece. Listen to this. Ra'iti anashim makilim lesrok rosham b'Shabbat. Says the rabbi. I see a lot of people, not a Chamvadia, he's quoting someone else. I see a lot of guys, they brush their hair on Shabbat with a brush, a comb. It's like they think it's allowed. Ve'oy le'enayim shekach ro'ot la'abor b'she'at nefesh le'halel Shabbat b'yadayim. Woe to the eyes that see people breaking Shabbat like this. U'mehara'oy lechol hacham.
Wow.
U'mehara'oy lechol hacham it is befitting every rabbi be'iro in his city to warn everyone. Maybe the people will listen. This the people say, no, we have to look nice. You want me to look ugly in front of the people in shul? You could do this in an allowable way. This is the Sefer Yeshuot Yaakov. Use your hands. Using your hands is only, if you know the Mishnah, it's only midrabanan. According to one person, it's allowed. Why would you do this? Now, why is he so strict on this? Says the because it's something that you're walking around, calling attention to it. Your hair is what the first thing people see. So he says, if you walk in your shul and you have beautifully done hair, you're telling every single person you Mahalel Shabbat. So he says it's very, very strict on the hair in Shabbat.
Well, the part before you said, Mikol Mikre ze merabanan.
It's midrabanan.
So it's pesik she'la nichale merabanan, and it's still a sur. I don't get it.
Great question. Mara Shulchan Aruch holds like the Ramban that it's going to be asud. It's asud. It's a good question what you're saying.
And
this is a very. This is a. The Gemara says it is. Maybe it's Rabbi Yehuda. It's a huge question. Why he holds like Rabbi Yehuda? Not like Rabbi Shimon. It's a massive she'ela. Brushing hair is, like you see here, is very unique.
It's a classic pesik reshe midrabanan ve'la nichale. It should have been an easy one. It's slam dunk. How come it became so complicated?
He took the hard word. I'm telling you right now, this is a massive discussion of why he held like this.
2 weeks of learning. No,
guys, two more halachot. Hayal hanimsa b'seva shel goyim, or Hilonim, let's say. V'kibel pikuda legaleach et zikano b'Shabbat kedei lekabel pnei sar nechbad. A soldier that says you must shave on Shabbat. Ve'eno efsharut l'sarev lepikuda. You cannot refuse the order. Adif she'yitgaleach b'Shabbat al yedei goy. Let a goy do it. Me'asher yitgaleach be'atzmo al yedei sam. So also lenient. So we take the leniencies when we want the leniencies, basically. Last halakha. Isha sheshakha legzot ziponea me'erev Shabbat. Ve'hazema tivilata b'leil Shabbat. She didn't cut her nails. Mutal la lomar lenochrit legzot ziponea b'chli b'Shabbat. She can tell the non-Jew to do it. Ve'tov le'achmid lelamed et hanochrit shetimshoch et yedei ha'isha. The goya should pull her hand. Ve'lo toshit ha'isha et yedei eleha. She shouldn't stretch her hand out. V'im en sham nochrit. What if there's no goya to do it? Should she go in the mikvah? Should she wait till the next day? What should she do?
Go to the mikvah.
Yesh le'atid la litbol al yedeh nikud yafeh tahat hasiponayim. The Ashkenazim would hate this. Acham Odia is much more lenient than mikveh than Ashkenazim. Clean the nails and go in the mikvah, even with the long nails on Shabbat. Says Acham Odia. And it says it's Kaim Alan Rabbi Shimon. Number one, we hold like Rabbi Shimon. And it's a shvut, tishvut, bimkom mitzvah, mutar af bekeli, it should be even. ויש לצרף או צירת הייתור, שאפילו shvut אחד, במקום מצווה ובמוtar. It's a midrabanan, it's a gezerah and a gezerah. You can't use yadayim and a gezerah that you'll use a utensil, and even the utensil is probably midrabanan. אלא שמכיוון שאפשר שהנוכלי תחטוף ציפורניים בשפלו בכלי נכון יותר לעשות כן, שבזה הדבר פשוט העתיד. And therefore, and he says at the end, כיוון שאין כוונתה להתנאות בזה, רק לצורך טבילה. She doesn't even want to be pretty with these nails, she wants to dip. So the bottom line is, no brushing with a hard brush with teeth on Shabbat.
It's called masrek.
Masrek, but you could use this. So if you see the ladies brushing their hair on Shabbat, what do?
See, Ani, I'm so proud of you that you're using a silk brush.
So if they're using a hard brush on
I
Shabbat.
don't use it to look pretty anyway.
So Acham Radia writes, I think he writes this in Me'or Yisrael, I saw, that you should try in a nice way to get them to switch to the other brush, the soft brush. If you know they won't listen, don't tell them anything, says Acham Radia.
Max says.
Then you make them.
Acham Radia says, if you, especially in this case, why? because it's a shivut of a shivut. V'lo nihala and pesik reshe. And so what's the bottom line is, if your wife brushes her hair on Shabbat with a hard brush, don't kill her. Save your battles for something else, because at the end of the day, she shouldn't be doing it. But it's a shivut, pesik reshe, lo nihala on Shabbat, and we still hold it tasud. But it's going to be
patur.
it's patur. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.